30th and probably June 1st as well. And again, with this, I would urge members to keep track of questions. We can submit them and get a response back before the whole budget hearing process is over. Keep track of wish list and budget request items. Today, Tanaka Vircher, our wonderful vice chair, was going to chair. She may come in late. She had an emergency. I will be filling in for her. And with this, our state trial courts. Thank you. Please come forward, gentlemen, and introduce yourselves. And I'm grateful that you all are here. We will try to keep questions focused on budget and finance questions. Many worthy questions come up that may need to be considered in another forum with another meeting. But today is all money, all about money. Thank you. Thank you very much. Here, let me turn on the microphones.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman Cooper. We appreciate it. I'm Joe Binkley, Jr. I'm the presiding judge of the 20th Judicial District, which is all of the Davidson County trial courts, the 18 of us, 6 criminal court judges, 4 chancellors, and 8 circuit court judges. We thank you all. To my right is Tim Townsend, our trial court administrator. And to my left is Joe Werner, who's the deputy trial court administrator and finance officer for the trial courts. We have requested a total budget of $12.4 million for the 2018 fiscal year. Of that amount, $8.7 million is from the general fund, and the remaining $3.7 million will be funded by grants, fines, and forfeitures. The mayor's budget is fine with us, and we can live with and continue to function efficiently with it. We also have, well, let me just digress just a little bit. We had stated that we would take the circuit court state trial judges would take over the orders of protection from the General Sessions Court, provided we had some additional funding to help us with that process. There was approximately 5,000, is that it? 5,000 more orders of protection than we're already handling. We're presently handling approximately between 1,350 and 1,500, depending on filings. You know, filings will vary from time to time. And we needed additional funding and thought we might be in a position to get that. With the additional funding we had requested for taking over the orders of protection from the General Sessions Court, all of which had the blessings of the General Sessions Court. Our circuit court clerk, Ricky Rooker, had gone to the General Sessions Court judges and asked them if they would consent to that process if we in the circuit court could get the additional funding we needed to handle that additional caseload. And the General Sessions judges were fine with that process. And again, it was all dependent on funding. The funding we had requested also was involved additional funding from other agencies. And as a result, the mayor did not approve the whole package, which included our request and the funding that was requested from the other agencies that was connected to our funding. So we did not get that, but and we did not know that we were not going to get that additional funding until I think it's the night before, which Mr. Riebling was very kind to call and let us know that our request for that additional funding would not be in the mayor's budget. And then the mayor gave her address the next day, and that didn't give us much time to get all 18 of us together on an emergency basis. So we had our regular monthly meeting, which is the first Thursday of every month, and I believe that was May the 4th, this last Thursday, and all the judges agreed that even if we could not request that could not ask and get the additional funding we'd requested, that we needed to do something about the orders of protection, which are currently being heard by the circuit court judges. A special master was and has been hearing the circuit court orders of protection for approximately 23 months. That person is a lawyer, and that person, Dana Ballinger, worked for Judge Hamilton Gayden, First Circuit Court judge. And Dana Ballinger was loaned to us by Judge Gayden to hear the circuit court orders of protection. When Judge Gayden, and as I say, that's been 24 months, he's been without one of his 3 employees. She's only been able to work for Judge Gayden on a very ad hoc, part-time basis, depending on the size of the docket that she's handling for the circuit court orders of protection. So Judge Gayden, seeing that our funding request did not go through the mayor's budget, said that, you know, it's time. I need my person back. I'm shorthanded. I need her back or someone to take her place. And so we had asked. So that was Thursday, May 4th. So what day did we go to see Mr. Riebling? Friday the 5th. Thank you. Thought that was right. I think that was right. Yes, Friday, May 5th. To ask if we could have in the mayor's budget, and of course it was already announced, what could the administration do about providing us with funding for a full-time special master assigned to the circuit courts to hear orders of protection. And again, we were late asking because it was late. We were late knowing that our request was not in the mayor's budget. So at that time, I think Talia Lomax O'Neill, finance director, and Mayor Barry were out of town, and so Mr. Riebling said he'd have to wait and talk to them, and he has talked to them, and as I understand it, the administration is willing to work with the council to provide that additional funding for one full-time special master assigned to the circuit court to hear orders of protection. And then hopefully next year we'll come back and ask for what we had asked for this year, which was 2 full-time special masters and 2 additional, pardon me, in-court help, which would be security and providing assistance. Because when orders of protection are granted, the statute, the law that sets out orders of protection state that the people involved have to get copies of the orders signed by the judge while they're in the courtroom. So it takes a lot of paperwork to be done. It takes personnel to handle that paperwork while the judge is hearing the next case. And so we needed some people for that and to provide some security for if we were taking over 5,000 more cases. We're not asking for additional security with this additional request we've made through Mr. Riebling from the administration. We're only asking for a full-time special master, and we'll handle the security ourselves. So, in effect, since the administration has advised us they will be working with the council to make this full-time special master assigned to the circuit court occur. We were going to ask for that today, but we learned today that the administration is going to approve that and work with you all to get the funding for that. So I hope I haven't been too confusing. I've tried to shorten it and make it not a very long presentation, but
well,
if we have any questions, please ask.
Well, thank you, Your Honor. Councilman Bob Mendez has a question.
Thanks for being here. Just to recap that, I hear you saying that you guys are okay with the budget as proposed, but there's one other add-on you're requesting, and it has to do with dealing with orders of protection. If you could just briefly tell us what orders of protection are, and
Yes.
and I think part of it is that some orders of protection come out of General Sessions Court and some come out of Circuit Court. Is that right?
That is correct. Actually, some out of juvenile court also. But the order of protection statute that we there's several statutes involving orders of protection, but the one that we deal with primarily is Tennessee Code Annotated Section 36-3-605. And it says, and I'll just read the statute. It's easier to read it than to try to paraphrase it. It says, upon the filing of a petition, and that's a petition for an order of protection, the courts may immediately, for good cause, issue an ex parte order of protection, which means if the person who says, I'm in danger, this person is threatening me, I'm in danger, I need you to, judge, to issue me an order of protection. And ex parte means the judge takes the word of that person and says, okay, I'm going to issue it, or I'm not going to issue it. You don't have enough information to present to me to issue an ex parte order of protection. But what has to be shown by that person who says, I need an order of protection because I'm in danger, that person has to present proof that they are in immediate and present danger of abuse. And that's the good cause that has to be shown for the purposes of issuing an ex parte order of protection. Now, once that order of protection is issued by the judge or the magistrate, a lot of times the night court magistrates issue them, then the person who is posing the danger to the person seeking the petition for order of protection is served with a paper. This is a civil process. It's not a criminal process. It's a civil process. And the person is called the respondent. The petitioner is the person saying, I'm in danger, and the respondent is the person who the petitioner is saying is endangering me. And the respondent has to be served with the petition. And the statute says within 15 days of service, in other words, when the respondent is served, 15 days from that day, a hearing shall be held, at which time the court shall either dissolve any ex parte order that has been issued, which means the person hasn't proved their case, or if the petitioner has proved their case of domestic abuse, stalking, sexual assault, anything like that, by preponderance of the evidence, so it's civil, then the order of protection for a definite period of time will issue, and that period of time will not exceed 1 year.
All right, and as I understand it, because orders of protection have been coming out of multiple courts, what the state trial courts had proposed to the mayor's office was basically taking over the operation so it wasn't split up among multiple courts, and that's not in the budget, but at a minimum, you all in the state trial courts have been using one lawyer that's been assigned to one judge to help that judge run his courtroom to deal with the orders of protection, and the ask is to fund a position so the judge who's been working shorthanded can get his staff member back, and there will be a dedicated position to helping the state trial courts deal with orders of protection. Is that the ask?
Correct. That's correct.
All right. Thanks. I feel compelled to say in a half minute or less, Mr. Chair, that with all the troubles that have been going on with a portion of the General Sessions Court, one in particular, it's important that we don't lump all the judiciary into one box. I know the state trial courts do a great job and appreciate everything you guys do. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you all also.
Councilman Glover.
Thank you, Chair. So did I understand you, Judge, properly that the money you had requested that you didn't think you were going to get, now the administration is saying that it will be there? Did I miss it?
Not the full amount, no, sir.
Okay.
Not the full amount.
So
Just for one special master. We had requested 2 special masters, full-time special masters, and an additional personnel for each full-time special master. So 4 personnel is what our original request was. Now we're requesting 1.
Okay. So, Mr. Chairman, I guess my question to you is, are we being given that additional money from the administration, or is it something we're going to have to deal with inside of the council and in the substitute budget?
Well, I'll defer to our finance director. It would seem to me that this is,
I don't think a final solution was recommended, but we will work on, there's several different options to get there, and we're willing to discuss all of them.
Okay. But if I understand correctly, or in the normal process of how this works, it would have to be handled in the substitute budget.
Yes, that would be one way to handle it.
All right, and so as we're going forward then, Chair, I guess you'll be talking with the administration to figure out where that's going to actually come from. Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you, Councilman. Council Lady Allen.
Thank you. Just to follow up on Mr. Glover's question, it seems like one of the ways would be for a council member to request a specific amount to be considered, so it would be helpful if y'all knew what that amount was.
$120,800.
Approximately. $120,800. Thank you for that information. We'll see what we can do with it.
And Mr. Townsend will.
And that's with benefits.
Send
That's
us the
salary
letter.
plus benefits.
Thank
Sorry.
you. No. Thank you, Council Lady Allen and Councilman Hager.
Thank you. Judge, as I understand, y'all get the order protections where the people are married. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Is the amount of those increased over the last 2 or 3 years, or do you have figures in that regard?
I don't have the total figures, Councilmember Hager, but the statewide orders of protection are the highest rising filings in the system, in the judicial system. So my thought is, without having any statistics in front of me, is that if they've got to be rising somewhat, because that's statewide is what's occurring.
And you're getting about 1,400 a year right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there any discussion about, I know what the filing for divorce and things of that nature are. Is there a state mandated fee for the filing of the order of protection, or can those fees go up any at all?
There is a state mandated fee. I found that out. I've talked to our circuit court clerk,
Okay.
Richard Rooker, and there is a statute, state statute that mandates the amount. And in order to increase the amount, state statute would have to be amended.
Okay. All right. That's all. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Councilman. And Councilman Coleman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Judge Bankley, did I understand you to say that all the order protection will be ran by trial court, the ones in general sessions the ones that are being handled in general sessions now?
Well, that was our request, Councilmember Coleman. That was our request in the budget, but that request was not granted. So we were going to take all of the general sessions order protections into the circuit court, but we needed additional funding to handle the additional caseload for 2 special masters and a in-court person for each special master. So basically 4 employees, 2 of whom would be lawyers, who would be the special masters.
Right. I guess what I was trying to find out, whether or not all of the order protection will be handled out of one courtroom, both general sessions and the married order protections too. So it will relieve the general sessions team of handling order protections?
Yes, sir. That's correct. If our budget request had been accepted by the administration.
Right. And the 120,000 that you estimate would suffice?
That 120,800 is to hire 1 full-time special master to handle really what's in the circuit court now only,
Right.
with no additional personnel.
Right.
And we would hope to come back next year with the proposal we made this year.
I see.
To have
Right.
another special master, but in 2 additional in-court personnel. But
Right.
we know that's not going to happen this year.
Right. And I noticed you passed up the security question, which is always a concern over at the courthouse. Is it such that we can get by without the extra security person that you're speaking of, or is that not a necessity for this year?
Right now, we have been handling the security issue ourselves without any additional help. And of course, the sheriff has got some people assigned to the courthouse, and with those people and with the other court officer people that we have available from time to time to help out. The courtroom I serve is right across the hall from the courtroom where these orders of protection are handled now. And when my court officer is not engaged in any active duties with the jury. Even if he is, my law clerk can handle the jury. And my court officer, William Graves, frequently helps out when needed. And we're happy to do that.
All right. Well, I just know that security is very important.
It is.
I just know how important it is over in the courthouse. So
It is.
I just want to make sure the request for this council from this body right now is just to add the one person, and that would see us through this particular year.
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilman. Well, I want to thank the judge and Mr. Townsend, Mr. Warner for being here, and we'll look forward to getting your request. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.